Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus, Brady Lining, and Todd Griffin.
He gone. Do we drop out again?
Now I can hear you.
All right.
You
Can you hear me, Eric?
Yes.
All
Can
right.
you hear me? That doesn't
Yes.
mean they can hear us. Though.
Can you guys hear us? That's the question.
Yes. Any sound? Check, check, check. Yay, sound.
All right. There we go.
Oh, goodness. So
I
you just
tried to do this with-
saw an example of our problems that we've been having right there. All right. Finally, welcome to episode 187 of the Play By Ear podcast. Welcome one, welcome all. Check in. Get you all on screen.
It's getting to be the time of the year where I need a fan for this podcast.
I think we have a few in the room right now.
Need a fan right up in my face.
Haha.
Pardon me.
All right.
Had all kinds of
Hello,
gremlins out
Richard.
there tonight. Richard,
Savannah's with us.
John, Mr.
Right, I feel
Bonnie.
it. I feel it. I feel it.
Yes, John, you know the perils of live in-person broadcasting. Hello, Gary.
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 All right. If you're,
And
I don't know.
Richard.
I had a counter before. Now I don't have a counter. I don't even know how many people are in the room unless they check in. And that happened last week. I don't know. I'm just struggling. I'm on the struggle bus.
The only way to kick this episode off is, yeah, Gary, perfect. That was a good segue, because I'm going with dump out some of this water here.
The historian oh, look at that. He got the small.
Fount.
Small.
Now, if I can open this,
RC zero sugar.
I know the
Listen.
historian sent me a picture that he had purchased a can of RC for the night too. So I think we need to. Here we go. Here comes
Good
mine.
stuff.
Ready? That was the bottle, not me.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have yours?
No.
Boo! You're one of the big proponents.
No, my proponency was I was not drinking generic cola.
Well, I want everybody out there who has got a Royal Crown soda pop to tip it up and savor it and swish it in your mouth where all those aromatic bass notes.
I'm getting notes of
I have real drinks.
That's Mountain Don't tonight.
that's a fine cola. That is a fine cola right there.
It is. Tastes like grandma's house.
Fizzy, got just enough bite, little tang.
enough cola bean to like give it some flavor and zest.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And a little coat of aftertaste on your tongue.
You're thinking of Tab.
No,
or
I'm not.
Die and Rot. Excuse me, right?
This brings back some memories right here. This is nice. This is a good moment, Eric. You're not basking in it.
I just need my Dave Parker wristbands that I got at Riverfront Stadium on RC night.
RC.
Nice.
All right, Todd. Since you're not going to serve me up, I'm going to.
Up. I was going to.
Okay.
I'm going to serve you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So the other day, I was looking for some RC Zero at the Dollar General. I couldn't find it, and I'm pulling out bottles because I didn't know what it looked. I didn't know it had that black label, that black part on the label. So I'm just pulling out bottles, and I have two different bottles in my hand. As a matter of fact, I have a picture. I have two different bottles in my hand. They're both regular RC, right? And I want you to see what the problem is with this.
I'm intrigued.
Not the only problem.
Look at the calorie count. Two identical bottles of RC. One of them 250 calories, the other 270 calories. What's up with
Identical.
that? What's up with that?
Generic cola cannot even standardize their labeling. That's what's up with that.
Do not bash royalty.
But Eric, so do you think this is a mistake, or did they change their calorie count?
I think RC in general is a mistake.
Now, just for the record, my bottle says 250 calories.
Yeah. So, but do you have one of the older bottles or the newer bottles? You know, if you were really counting calories, that can make a difference.
In the middle for perfect gripping, and it goes right in your cup holder in your car snugly. We'll be accepting any payment from the RC Cola Company, by the way.
Yeah, that's good.
RC Cola is poverty. They have no money to pay you.
All right, Gary, that's a good point. I didn't get enough of the.
Mine is 20 fluid ounces.
They were identical. I mean, like you can't see it, but like if you look how the bottles line up perfectly, they're the same width,
same girth,
same height. No, it's the 20. That's the 20-ounce bottles, but yeah. So, but you know what? You don't need that 270 calories or 250 calories. This is fine with 0 calories, right? Cheer.
All right. So, speaking of cola fats. So we were talking about Dr. Pepper last week as well, which is owned by Keurig Dr. Pepper. But I found out that Dr. Pepper is distributed. It's distributed around here by the Pepsi people. And in other places, it's distributed by Coke people. Reason being, Dr. Pepper does not have their own bottling facilities. So they contract with whoever they can contract with in a certain delivery area. So sometimes the Dr. Peppers are in Coke bottles, and sometimes they're in Pepsi bottles.
Really?
Yes.
So, depending on where you go, the Dr. Pepper could be different. Like it'll be in a different bottle. Like, that's interesting. It's a physician. It should have its own bottling. It's a man of letters.
The trick is going to be drinking all this RC tonight without burping.
I've already ran into that. I would have sounded like a Holstein cow a few seconds ago. I had to stifle it because I drank that big swig fast. I think there's a lot of air in these bubbles.
You know what I want? I want an RC float this summer.
That's an interesting proposition.
All right, so
works for root beer.
Root beer. Hey, look at this comment. Dr. Pepper talk about generic.
There you go.
No, Mr. Pibb is generic. Dr. Pepper is the tried and true.
Dr. Pepper is no quack
Of that genre.
The best thing about Dr. Pepper is how closely the Diet Dr. Pepper, how it holds up to the regular Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the better tasting diets or zeros.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually I don't have a problem with any of the zeros. I think all of the zeros taste close enough to the regulars.
Now I will say, like I showed you, the Diet Mountain Dew. I favor the Diet Mountain Dew more so than the Mountain Dew Zero. Got different taste.
Any more Mountain Dew, whether it be zero or diet, is just too sweet for me.
Toot sweet.
Toot sweet. Toot sweet.
Code Red Dr.
Little
Pepper.
Chitty Bang Bang reference there for you folks.
Yeah.
When Code Red came out and I slugged a bottle one day on a hot day, man, I thought I was going to die on the spot. It was just so sweet. It was like, it's delicious, but not good on a hot day.
Chai Tai, Biong, Biong.
What?
I don't know. It's what came to my head. Chitty Bang Bang.
What? Oh, I was just saying, what's in that RC Cola?
Sorry.
Does it stand for Royal Crown? Crown Royal, sorry.
So you did a Chai Rodriguez there.
I did a Chai Rodriguez. Yeah. I can't even say that. Rodriguez?
Rodriguez.
Is it Rodriguez or Rodriguez?
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Let's it's Chichi Rodriguez.
We have a fun episode tonight.
We do.
So John with the facts here. In Southern Ohio, Dr. Pepper is made by G&J Pepsi in Columbus. There you go.
There you go, folks. And there you go.
There you have it.
All right, Todd, before you go, here are our platforms above our heads. Social media-wise, Facebook, X, and Instagrams. If you want to listen or watch the show, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, and Rumble.
Twitch.
Video platforms, also on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and the iHeartRadio app, amongst other audio podcast platforms. I am admittedly a few episodes behind on publishing episodes. I will get, I believe we're on 185 that I need to put up, so that will be coming up shortly. Todd,
Richard,
the floor is yours.
See, Richard, I commented last episode, Barks, to me, always had a little too much licorice flavor.
The cream soda. Now, Bark cream soda, is it red also, or is it amber color?
Not sure.
I don't know.
Not sure either.
Oh, no. All right. So this is interesting because Brady, was it Brady that sent this bracket?
It was.
So I'm usually the bracket guy. I usually find the brackets. Actually, Eric is the bracket guy, but I find the brackets typically for the podcast. And but Brady sent this, and I don't think we've had a bracket like this ever.
It's unusual.
Typically, our brackets are themed. Is Brady just gone on anybody else's screen?
No, I see him. He's moving.
Well, he was frozen for a while on mine. But this bracket has no theme, which is interesting because we typically have food. We've done movies, we've done songs, we've done desserts. This is just simply called the Why Not Tournament.
Brought to you by Mr. Ricky Cobb at Super 70. I'm going to put his logo up there, his Twitter handle, one of the most phenomenal feeds in social media. So we got to get it up. He came up with this. It was so good that we have to send it to you guys.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I lost it. I'm having a lot of problems on my end. I'm having technical difficulties on my end. So trying to get through that. I can't hear Brady. I can hear him, but it's just like that, and I can't see him. He might as well have been holding a sweet potato up there to the camera. I couldn't see what he was holding.
Sweet potato.
You busted me. It was.
Here is the bracket. And Eric, there are no regions. I know that probably is not something that you're a fan of.
That bothers me.
Yeah, there are no regions. There are, let me look at the seeding. Looks like we have 15 on each side of the bracket. So are we ready for our first matchup? And you guys will see what we're talking about when we say there's no theme here. It's just why not? Number 1 seed, beer, versus number 16 seed. I guess you'd have to have 16. Number 16 seed, Married with Children. Beer versus Married with Children.
Beer is never number 1 in my bracket.
Let me clarify. Beer. This is the TV show, Married with Children.
Oh. It was a TV show called Beer.
Not the concept.
Yes. I'm not the best guy to ask about beer. It's not a favorite of mine. But Married with Children, I did love. I could tolerate beer, but I love Married with Children.
Well, I'll give you my take on beer. I don't like beer. Don't like any form of beer. Yeah, Married with Children. I mean, I'm almost better with a root canal than beer. So Married with Children obviously would be my choice. So
well,
Gary,
but can you separate yourself from the beer? Do we do this based on our own personal preference, or do we look at it as in like what it means to society or to other people, or what it, you know what I mean? How do we approach this?
I can only speak for myself. I could sometimes.
And he gone. We'll continue. I don't know. I mean, these brackets are always about how you perceive them. I mean, my perception would be it's my personal preference, I guess. How else could you play it? So you're saying like societally speaking, which is more of a maybe that's why they're seated the way they are.
Right. I was just throwing it out there. I mean, like obviously if we typically just go by what we like better, but I'm just trying to look at another angle here. I think it would get too complicated, too complex if we tried to base our answers based on what they mean to society. I mean, obviously beer has been around longer and still around. So its staying power is something, but I don't know. I am a bourbon guy. I don't love beer. I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm not a beer connoisseur by any means. But I'm still going to go with beer over Married with Children.
It seems like the audience is voting based upon preference.
Yeah, that's how I voted. I voted based. Okay, the only way I think you can answer something like this is if you could never have another beer or never watch another episode of Married with Children. And while I'm not a beer lover, every once in a while I enjoy a nice cold beer on a hot day or at a show or something like that. To where Married with Children, as much as I like it, I haven't watched an episode in 15 years.
True.
So that's how I'm answering it.
I'll still say Married with Children because I mean, if I had never had another beer, my life would change zero. So you say beer, I say Married with Children. It looks like Celia says Married with Children. Now Gary had a question: is it beer the drink or the concept? And I guess that's kind of what we just talked about. The concept being its place in society. I guess we just arrived at what is our preference. But
Right.
anyway, Married with Children says Richard. Married with Children says Savannah. Let's see. Gary says Married with Children either way. So not a beer fan. All right. Looks like Married with Children takes that one. Upset 16 seed over 1.
Ooh, nice. I'm trying to rewrite this on paper. Next matchup. Let's get right into it here. We have the dreaded 8-9 matchup. Number 8 seed, Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
Versus number 9 seed, Led Zeppelin.
I'm a baseball guy. Ricky Henderson, God rest his soul, he just passed away recently. Ricky Henderson, probably one of the greatest human beings in history at talking about himself in the third person. That's what he did. Ricky's going to do this. Ricky did that. Talking about himself. Bring Brady back into the fold here.
Feeling better?
Not really.
Okay. I think the issue might not necessarily be. I think Spectrum might be glitching out here like Lenoka a little bit. It was having some issues earlier.
Spectrovision.
Yep.
All right, well, I mean, it kind of cleared up just there. Just hang around and see what happens, I guess.
I am so Eric, I'm sorry, I didn't know if you voted or not, or if you picked.
That being said, though, like I said, I'm a baseball guy. Ricky Henderson, I like Ricky Henderson all right. Led Zeppelin, although I'm not the biggest Led Zeppelin fan, I think they're more profound than Ricky Henderson is. I'll go with Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
I voted Zeppelin, even though I love some Henderson.
Yeah, I enjoyed Ricky Henderson back when I was a little more into baseball. I have to answer this one based on what each did for their
genre.
For like genre. And Led Zeppelin's just so influential, and so my preference for Zeppelin it comes in waves. Like there are times where I'll go long periods of time without listening to them, and then there are times where I'll listen to several Zeppelin songs. Multiple times I'm listening to music, I'll go to Zeppelin. I'm gonna go Zeppelin. Going Zeppelin.
All right, so 3 Zeppelins.
I think Zeppelin's running away with it.
Yeah, I don't think Ricky Henderson got a vote, actually. Celia said Zeppelin, since she'd never heard of Ricky Henderson. Savannah says Zepp. Richard says Zepp, Led Zeppelin. And a little lead for your head. Gary, you got to vote for us. Gary was the only other one voting on me. Maybe the only other one in the room. I can't tell. My counter doesn't work.
I penciled it in. Zeppelin.
Yeah, I don't think it matters either way.
All right. Next up, we have the 5 seed versus the 12. 5 seed, 80s MTV. Good stuff.
Yes.
Versus 12 seed, Inside the Park Home Runs.
Ooh.
I love this randomness of this. There inside, and I know Eric is he's the uber baseball guy, the ultimate baseball guy. I love the Inside the Park Home Run is exciting, but I would not be who I am today. I might not even be sitting here talking to all of you if it wasn't for 80s MTV. Now, I don't know how I explain that, but it was definitely formative for me. It's why I picked up an instrument. It's why I love music. Like, I always liked music, but 80s MTV truly shaped me in every way, shape, or form.
I couldn't say it any better myself. Although I do love an Inside the Park home run.
Yeah.
Although I think a triple is more rare than inside the park home run is, but I digress. MTV, when it was actually music television, I think that was our version of ADHD. Like nowadays, ADHD is like the electronic devices. We couldn't hold our attention more than a 3-minute video. That's kind of why MTV was so popular, I think. But
And even Thriller was a hard sell at 14 minutes. You kind of got antsy during parts of it. And then, if you just held on long enough, you could see fish heads in the video.
Yes.
Sorry.
Eric, I do not mean to insult the game of baseball, but I actually don't like inside the park home runs. Now, there are inside the park home run, and I'm going to show my lack of knowledge about baseball too. But I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. There are inside the park home runs that are just sheer skill and speed induced.
Yes.
And position and ball placement.
Yes.
So I don't doubt the skill, but there are a lot of inside the park home runs that are the result of just buffoonery and errors.
I was going to say bumblefunery.
And bumblefunery, miscues, and errors. And that type of inside the park home run I'm not a fan of. So I think you have to separate the pure inside the park home run from the happy birthday
kind.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's fair. It's all fair.
But my 80s MTV was a little different than your Yun's, just because of the slight age difference. But it was good. It was good.
It was pure.
Yeah, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. It was pure. Yeah, I got to go 80. I got to go 80s MTV. And 90s MTV wasn't terrible.
When did they diverge away from the videos? Because quite honestly, I didn't watch MTV a whole lot. Once I started driving and things like that, I didn't watch it a lot. But
I want to say it was early 2000s, maybe a little later.
I'm going to say actually earlier than that. I'll tell you where the wheels started to come off. The wheels started to come off with The Real World.
Yes.
Now, I think the wheels were coming off anyway. When videos went from big and shiny to greasy sheen. That's what I blame the 90s for a little bit. Their video, the filming had a little bit of a greasy sheen to it.
Yes.
But yeah, I think The Real World ushered in, Jersey Shore, 16 and Pregnant. And, and now in all fairness, 16 and Pregnant was, the music videos had died by then. But I think that was just the last gasp of a dying, that just not only did it give up the ghost, it peed on the grave too.
All right. So am I correct in saying that the first non-video show on MTV was Remote Control?
I was thinking the same thing, man. Yep. I believe it was. It was a game show, and it was a whimsical one and pretty fun. I had no issue with that.
No, it was close enough to the concept that it was fine, I thought.
Yeah, it says here, this thing says late 90s, early 2000s. So, yeah.
But at any rate, they should have been forced to change their name at that point. No longer MTV. Pop culture television.
So it has to be sad if you're you are a child of the 80s and a young child of the 80s, and then you get into the 90s and you form a band, and let's say you make it big, and then all of a sudden you realize that we don't do videos anymore. And it had to be a heavy blow to
disappointing.
Yeah.
Well,
but one of the very things that made you want to be a musician in a band, in a famous band, was the coolness of videos.
Well, but the ironic thing is it happened the opposite on the front end of that. because you had a lot of acts that would not do videos or did not have the needed faculties to do a decent video, e.g., Christopher Cross. You're not surviving the video age, and of course, then you had some bands that made that transition, some better than others. For example, Genesis. I mean, Genesis was a band that started in the mid '70s,
right?
But they transitioned into the video age pretty well.
Well, I mean, even more. I don't know if I want to say more mainstream. To some people, it might not be, but even like think about Van Halen. I mean,
True.
Again, 78. Whatever the first. Was it 78? Their first album.
Yes.
I mean,
and I got to throw a little bit of shade here. There's some acts that I was exposed to because of MTV, and later on, and I'm talking about Heart. I mean, I knew Barracuda existed, but 80s Heart got me loving Heart and exploring their back catalog. But man, to hear them now, they poo-poo their 80s stuff, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. I almost feel like they're insulting me for liking it.
I prefer 80s Heart over any other Heart.
Oh, me too.
Heart.
By a long shot.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Barracuda fan or anything like that. But give me some nothing at all, I'm all in.
My low-key favorite, Alone. What About Love? What About Love is one of the, when I say big, I don't mean like selling. It's one of the biggest, grandest sounding songs. That song sounds 5 miles wide. It just boom.
But does
These
Heart
Dreams is one of my favorites.
Do they poo-poo all their 80s stuff, or do they just poo-poo All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You?
No, I've heard. I've heard her cast VCs on all of it.
That song's terrible.
Yeah. But basically, it's if we didn't write it, we don't like it. That's kind of where they are with it. And a lot of that stuff in the 80s was written by other people. Diane Warren, I think, wrote some of it.
Right.
Of course, she was churning out pop hit after pop hit.
Desmond Child.
All right. We ready for the next? What won that? MTV, right?
MTV, yeah.
Yeah. 80s MTV. So that is
You are correct about the minutes.
5 seed. Next up, we have the 11. I guess a little blurry. What would 11 be, Eric? You're the bracket guy. 11-3? 11 or no?
11-6.
11-6. My bad. Hang on a minute. I'm wrong. The 80s MTV was 5. Inside the Park was 12. So our next matchup is, it gets too blurry for me to see so it's 13 and I can't see. Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Should be 13-4, right?
Okay.
Versus Brisket.
Oh
man.
This is tough.
This is hopefully not the brisket. I'm not being silent. I'm really thinking about this. I do love me some brisket. But man, I'm a Cincinnati kid. I want Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, warts and all. He deserves it. So am I willing to give up brisket for a noble concept? In this case, I might. I mean, with a few cases, I might. I haven't made up my mind yet.
Okay, my life doesn't change if Pete Rose doesn't get into the Hall of Fame or if he gets into it. But my life does change if I never get brisket again.
That is a strong argument, sir. Dang.
Yeah, but don't you want to right a wrong? Well, it would not be worth giving up brisket for you to right a wrong.
I don't think now that he's passed. Matter of fact, didn't he even say that he didn't want to be put in after he passed?
I think it was just grape sour.
Well, I mean, but to an extent, it's like if he doesn't get to enjoy it, it feels like a consolation prize.
True.
Brisket, however, is never a consolation prize.
There are fewer meats in this world when slow cooked for heirs and heirs, or as good as brisket with some horseradish sauce.
No equine radish for me.
You know what's odd is I don't. You won't catch me eating cattail sauce because of the horseradish, and I don't like horseradish in general, but I do. So some places like Cooper's Hawk is one of them that has some medallions, and one of the medallions is topped with like a crusted Parmesan-y horseradish, whatever topping crust, and it is very good.
Okay, this is really random, but a famous podcast at the moment I was listening to yesterday, and they were talking about in Austin, Texas. There is this dude that was he was from Egypt. He was a financial guy. He visited Texas on business and loved brisket so much, he immigrated to the United States to make a brisket restaurant featuring Egyptian spices. Dang, that sounds good. I'm intrigued. I want to fly to Austin to have an Egyptian brisket sandwich. I do that. Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame. So,
my main problem with horseradish is you take a bite of it and it like sends sensations up into your nose.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? It travels through the capillaries in your
Upper
cleft,
lip.
whatever the hell that thing. Yeah, and it gets right up and it settles around your nostrils, and then it waits. Like the first one that gets there waits, and then when they all get there, then they just
storm the nose.
Storm the nose. Yes.
The blitzkrieg of aroma. Oh man, brisket's so good. Are we allowed to eat Bucky's brisket?
The bussies. Have you seen the videos where the guy calls it bussies?
Oh my god! I laughed for 10 minutes.
So I will eat horseradish on very few things, but brisket is one of those things.
You don't like au jus?
No.
I don't.
That's just dirty water.
Sure.
It's just dirty. It's just slop water. Au jus is. It's like
I love my slop water on a nice au jus.
Oh,
hey,
no one enjoyed a French dip sandwich in this world more than Brady and Liming.
Le dip français pour moi.
France. You can't count au jus as a condiment though.
No.
First off, if you did, Brady wouldn't eat it.
True.
It's not a condiment, it's a conduit.
No, the au jus. I'm not. It doesn't make me angry. I mean, it's not bad.
Todd, do you eat it?
But I've eaten it before. But
it makes your bread soggy.
Exactly. So, but if I'm making my own bread soggy, I don't mind that. But if I were to walk up and see it just like a plate where somebody toppled their au jus over onto their breads, I don't want to see that. Brings back memories of Lake Winoka and kids' hot dog buns and shit laying around the edge of the pool.
Oh man.
But if you could take au jus and thicken it a little bit, and then maybe add a little A1,
that turns it into gravies.
I don't know. Dipping a French dip in A1 is where it's at.
Or Worcestershire sauce.
Well, Worcestershire is in au jus.
Yeah.
A spritz of it, a dash. Too much of it gets too Worcestershire.
I agree, Savannah. Au jus needs to be thicker. It needs to be a little muddier. It's right now. It's just au jus looks like if you haven't changed your aquarium water in a while.
Pond water. With respect.
R2D2, ladies and gentlemen.
I was going to say R2D2.
Huh?
Oh, screw you, me too. There.
ICUP.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how Brady is sounding to the audience, because whatever the word is. Oh my! See, I rest my case.
Just like that.
It's testing us. It's a
on my microphone, it's green. This is Spectrum's fault. I apologize.
All right, have we picked the winner for this?
I even forget what the match is. Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame and what?
Brisket.
Brisket.
What else?
I have to pick Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I like brisket, but my life wouldn't change if I never got it again. Substantially.
You got to risk it for the brisket, Eric.
Did you just belch on microphone, sir?
Me?
No.
Eric did.
No, he didn't.
I didn't.
He's
What
silent.
was that sound?
There was no sound.
I like legitimately. That's why I was horrified. It looked like Eric went and burped on the microphone. I'm like,
he didn't.
Have you no honor, sir?
But what if he did? What if he did?
I was just shocked.
Are you saying he can't burp on his own podcast show?
Oh.
He can. He can. Gentlemen, schmentlemen.
I'm going brisket, guys. I think Pete Rose would want me to go brisket, to be quite honest with you.
I wouldn't
That's
bet on it.
I see what you done did there. Brady fell on the floor. He's gone. All I see is his chair. There he is.
I just leaned over to get. Boy, I must be choppy. I just leaned over to get my RC.
The historian says Brady's like a half-speed version of Max Headroom.
Gary said Brady's going Cubert.
Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what the issue is. I know it's windy. Maybe Spectre's having some cable issues. Windy.
All right, have we voted? Has anybody else voted? I voted brisket. Eric voted Pete Rose. Brady, I can't remember.
Dang it, man. And now I sound like the Def Leppard song at the beginning. I keep on waffling, but I think I'm going to have to stand with America on this. I'm going to have to say Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I could have an Arby's au jus and still have Pete in the Hall of Fame. So, I'm sorry. I love you, brisket, but we would have to break up in this case. It's me,
Brady,
not you.
Hopefully, many years from now, you're going to enter the gates of heaven, and Pete Rose is going to be waiting there, and he's going to say, "You stupid SOB, you should have picked brisket."
Yep.
Probably so.
All right, what says audience?
I think brisket will take the audience.
Yeah, I think so.
Or the audience will take brisket.
Yeah, although Gary says it seems better to get Pete in and celebrate with brisket, but that's not really a choice. Richard, I think you turned Richard from Pete Rose to brisket. Savannah says she'd love to see Pete in the Hall of Fame, but she would have to take brisket as well.
So,
don't know if the historian actually voted.
So, can brisket be used in a loose meat sandwich?
No, can it? Brisket is not loose meat.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Wait.
The looser the brisket, the wetter the Trisket.
I gotta text you guys something.
I don't know what that meant.
Sounded almost on TV 14, whatever it was.
It really did, but it was all food based. So Yeah, guys got dirty minds out there.
Dirty little.
But I think any meat can be loose. Don't you?
But loose meat is like ground beast.
No, I think it's shredded.
No, it's shredded. Think of pulled porpoise without the barbecue sauce.
Well, at least on the Roseanne episodes, it looks shredded. But I see where Eric's coming from. I think a manwich could be considered loose meat as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I look at it as the density of the like how close the meat shapes are together. Like it doesn't matter what shape the meat's in. It could be pulled. It could be ground. Like a hamburger is not a loose meat sandwich because the meat is taut and terse.
Turgid.
A hot dog is not a loose meat sandwich.
No. By the way, it is National Sloppy Joe Day. Bet you didn't know
Is
that.
it? I haven't had a
Really?
unkempt Jose in forever.
Exactly.
See, I heard today on the radio that today is National Awkward Moment Day.
We have plenty of those on our podcast, folks.
Yeah.
Right.
Gary has a good point. Doesn't shredded hang together, though? Maybe loosely, I suppose.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, I see the argument. Although I do think on the Roseanne, which honestly, Roseanne is the only place I've ever heard the term loose meat sandwich. I have never heard it anywhere else. So are we putting in brisket?
I'm gonna look up a picture.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe we're putting in brisket, yes.
All right. Next matchup. If you thought that one was random. Playoff hockey versus Susanna Hoffs.
Oh. What are the seeds on this?
Yeah. Playoff hockey is 11. So Susanna Hoffs would be what, 5?
6.
6. Yeah, they're blurry. I can read. People are like, "Can't you read?" It's very blurry when you zoom in. Here's the deal: you do not have social media if you don't get at least once a week some random post that Susanna Hoffs is turning 60 today or something like that. You guys get those like every week, every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
She can't be turning 60 every day, every year.
No. Well, she's not aging in those posts either, so.
Right.
No. There's not a red-blooded American boy that watched MTV videos that did not think this Hoffs was the bee's.
The bee's knees, he says. All right, Brady, in your pixelated state here. What is the consummate Susanna Hoffs moment
Pish
in your
posh.
mind?
Test me, sir.
Everybody
Here's what it
knows.
is.
Everybody.
It is the moment in Walk Like an Egyptian where she lowers her head and makes her eyes big and looks around all sultry.
Yes.
And
That's
I melt
it.
to a puddle
No.
this day.
It's not.
Yes,
We
it
had this conversation not too long ago, and we sent the video stills from it.
Oh,
I gotta
that's
do
a
some-
different scenario.
I got to do some
I
research
know.
here.
Quintessential, not personal favorite. Which the
True.
quintessential is my
There is a
personal favorite.
difference. There is a difference. When I say quintessential or consummate, this is the moment that everyone thinks of. When you say Susanna Hoffs, what do you think of? That's it. That look in that video at that moment. Yes. A boy turned into a man that day.
That's funny. I beg to differ, but
Boy, see, there it is, right there, Brady. Put
You
it
guys
up
are-
there. Right there. It's frozen right there.
Back.
frozen.
All right. I knew Todd. I knew that's what it was. I cannot argue with some of it, but I'm going to argue on this point. So, yeah, sorry, man.
Well, you can argue, but it's falling on deaf ears.
Deef.
I lost my bracket. So what are we saying here? Brisket. We already voted for that.
I mean, I'm saying Susanna Hoffs. Savannah's saying Susanna Hoffs.
Yeah.
I'm saying Susanna Hoffs. Is anybody saying hockey?
Unless they're Canadian.
Playoff hockey.
If I were sitting in the arena watching playoff hockey, it may be seeded number 11. If I were watching playoff hockey on TV, it wouldn't be on the bracket. Susanna Hoffs, however, I feel is underseeded.
I'm a firm believer in there's not a person alive that can actually follow the puck in hockey. So I think you just go for the experience. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows a goal is scored until it's scored and the siren goes off and everybody goes crazy. Like there's no way you like.
Why is the puck black? I mean? Should be a different color. Puck should be a different color.
Right.
Do you remember in the 90s where they tried to make it more watchable on TV by animating it like a laser and it looked like they were playing Tron? And that was like really distracting. It was a good concept, but failure in execution.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Hoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Walk like an Egyptian brisket. Are we all saying Hoffs? Nobody likes hockey.
No one said hockey.
Yeah. I mean, hockey is slightly above soccer, but still nobody likes it. Yeah. I know soccer is the most popular sport in the world. All right. Next up, we have the 3. Is it 3 and 14, Eric? Is that what?
Yes.
Is that where we go?
Yes. 3-14. Yes.
72 and sunny. 72 and sunny.
Is that number 3?
That's number 3, which is about what it was today, right? Maybe a little.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Versus breakfast buffets.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Easier. I'm no lover of buffets.
What?
I'm a lover of 72 and sunny.
Brady, you're not a lover of breakfast buffets?
No, I like to order my. I don't love buffets in general. I know we've referenced this before. It's just sometimes I just get it. It gets a little overwhelmingly gross. So I'm definitely going 72 and sunny. Just me.
Although Brady, I'm surprised that 72 and sunny for you is cool.
Yeah, but now if you would have asked me this in July, my answer might be different. But now after a long cold winter, 72 and sunny sounds pretty good.
I have one. There's one thing that makes or breaks my answer here. If the breakfast buffet has Geta, then it's breakfast buffet all day long.
All right. So in this particular matchup, if you pick the buffet, does that mean? What does that mean about your feelings about the temperature and the weather?
It means that you value the buffet over the temperature and the weather.
So it can be any temperature and any weather, and I value the buffet over that. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, no.
You're valuing it over 72 and sunny.
Right. So maybe, for instance, you're a winter kind of guy. So if it were 21 and icy, maybe you would pick that over the breakfast buffet. But if it were 72 and sunny, maybe you prefer the breakfast buffet over the
San Diego in December weather.
I'm seeing it as, do I value a buffet more or do I value my choice of weather more? It doesn't matter what the weather is.
And that's completely fine. The only thing I'll say is it doesn't say any weather. It says 72 and sunny. If it said breakfast buffet, it was the 11 seed, and weather was the 3rd seed.
Eric, I'll set it up for you. There's 2 doors. Behind one door is 72 and sunny day. behind the other door is Shoney's.
Hang on now. I mean, he gets to pick his breakfast buffet.
Okay, I was just painting a picture.
I know.
You mean 72 and sunny every single day of my life versus a buffet?
At that moment, at the moment you're hungry for breakfast, and you have a chance in some old dry toast from home, or going to a nice, delicious breakfast buffet with Geta.
Overloading on ham cubes and kids' skis.
A heaping helping of not only Geta, but those run-of-the-mill scrambled eggs with the cheese whiz and a spoon that you dab on top of it, and the cubed potatoes.
You're not making a good argument with the breakfast buffet.
But that's what's on them. I mean, I can't.
When you went cheese whiz, you were not making a good argument.
You know what I'm talking about? The cheese sauce.
I know what you're talking about, and like I said, that's not a good argument for it. No.
Well, you don't have to shovel on the cheese. You could just go straight egg, ketchup.
If there is a man in a tall hat making me rancheros huevos with some chorizo and some Monterey Jack cheese, I could be swaying.
Brady,
but
you're from Brown County. Stop acting like you're not. Gosh,
I like eggs and chorizo. Okay.
Gosh.
No, all joking aside, like, okay, if it was an all-you-can-eat buffet at maybe IHOP or Crackers Barrel, but Shoney's.
The only person I know that wishes they weren't from Brown County more is SJ, and he actually moved away from Brown County. You still live in it, Brady.
I like living in Brown County. I just have cultured food tastes.
Three words.
No condiments.
3 words. Putting on airs. Brady Liming.
And I love pudding. Pudding on airs. That would be a great name for the podcast. Pudding on airs. Pudding on AIRS.
Yes. I say 72 and sunny. I can still order my breakfast. Doesn't have to be a buffet style. I like 72 and sunny. So you
I'm
two,
going breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said breakfast buffet, Todd, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And Brady said 72 and sunny because he's not a buffet fan. All right, so looks like we may have a tie.
Ooh.
Because Gary says breakfast buffets are for all seasons, which I assume is a breakfast buffet vote. Richard says breakfast buffets. Savannah says 72 and sunny, so that's 3 apiece. So isn't the rule that what we vote carries the day? So we were 272 and sunny versus Kyle King rules.
Kyle King rules in effect.
So 72 and sunny it is.
All right. That fan on me is making my nose run. All right.
You want to hear something strange? I just got a Google email randomly advertising premium beef.
Brisket?
Could it be because we were talking about brisket?
Because the man's listening to you. Man's always listening to
you. Number 7 seed. Free HBO in the 80s.
Oh.
Ooh.
Not quite as good as Skinamax. Number 10 seed. Harold Carroll. Good old Harry Carey.
Holy cow.
Harry Carey. Remember that Bob and Tom got it?
That's what I was going to say. The best Harry Carey was the Harry Carey Bob and Tom did.
Yes.
Roll quarters makes my
This one's easy for me.
I have to say free HBO.
Yeah.
Harry Carey as a Ute annoyed me.
I was going to say I only like Hooray Carey on Bob and Tom. I wasn't like a
I mean, Harry Carey had his place in baseball lore, but
His
doesn't
place
even
was
come
near the
close.
bar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or near Augie Bush's wife.
Augie Bush, is that a real person?
August Bush was his name. Yeah, he went by
Really?
Augie. Yeah, yeah. Owned the Cardinals. Harry Carey was the Cardinals broadcaster and had an affair with Augie Bush's wife. That's why they fired him. He ended up with the Chicago White Sox, and then he moved to
Really?
the Cubs. Yeah,
Huh.
Interesting.
Harry.
With that being said, I will say free HBO all day and especially all night.
So I could watch
All of the
80s. We could watch Porky's and Caddyshack and Bachelor Party and
Private School.
yeah.
Emmanuel.
Stop.
Did I break Eric?
In the various iterations.
Let me be more specific. Emmanuel on the moon.
Oh, I thought you meant Emmanuel Lewis.
No.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He couldn't have gone to the moon. Mams and George would have never let him go to the moon.
Oh.
If you, by the way, if you got that joke, shame on you.
If you got that joke, you were looking through the wavy lines on HBO.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, Mama Liming. I know you're in
Yes.
the room.
Yeah. Right when she joins.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mama Limey.
She knows I was watching Caddyshack in 5th or 6th grade at my grandma
What-
Fulton's. They were
what's
at
the
doctor's
story?
appointments.
What's the story that I think your mom helped in the telling of it one night, where she took you to a movie that was a bit randier than what you guys were
Fast Times
expecting?
at Ridgemont High.
That's
Dad
right.
went to see the Douglas MacArthur flick Inchon. We had no interest. I said, "Well, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Those trailers look funny. It was whimsical."
Oh, that's funny. What did your dad go watch again?
Inchon. It was a Korean War movie.
So this boy became a man in the Walk Like an Egyptian video. Brady became a man watching Caddyshack with his mom.
No, Fast
Fast
Times.
Times at Ridgemont High.
Well, Fast Times are
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet that carrot scene was awkward.
it was. Where she started looking around like, what if a pastor saw her take her son in there? I just, and I honestly, I didn't know either. It just looked like a comedy. I don't think she even realized it was rated R.
Yeah.
Not even when Ticket Taker went. No, I'm kidding.
Was Damone the ticket taker?
Timon.
Oh.
I bet they
Was
were
there-
talking about that all night at the movie theater. all the
Has
tickets.
there been a smarmier character like than Damone? Like,
He's
I mean, there
pretty
have been
wily.
smarmier characters, but he was like, when you look back in hindsight, it's not very believable that he was a high school kid. High school kids are not that smarmy.
No. Well, Damone was like smarmy with a conscience because
Right.
he knew he was smarmy. He didn't want to be smarmy, but he had to be.
Right, because that's the ticket business, baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was trying to sell cheap trick tickets, and the girl went, "No, that's kid stuff. Who you think you are? Cheap trick kid stuff."
What's funny about that is we've made many a jokes about how Cheap Trick literally will open for anybody. Like they are the like you could go see any band and not be surprised to see Cheap Trick on the bill.
Yeah, they're the hired
Leave
guns.
me on with special guest Cheap Trick.
Yanni
Yeah.
with openers Cheap Trick.
Richard Clayderman.
Zamfir.
And his magic flute featuring Cheap Trick.
All right, do we vote on this one?
HBO.
Mama Liming said she was tricked.
She was tricked.
And I would be the first to tell you if I tricked her. And like I said, it just looked like a funny thing. The comedy. I mean, I was I didn't know.
Yeah, nobody wants to sit through that discomfort for a trick. I believe you on this one, Brady. But I don't. Yeah. She doesn't necessarily say you tricked her. Maybe she was tricked by just the movie, the trailer.
Yes, the trailer was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going free HBO over Hooray Hooray.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Without a doubt. I don't know that we've gotten any other votes. Anybody else? Free HBO or Harry Carey?
If you're in the room, say hi to us because we have no count. We could literally be sitting here just talking to ourselves right now. Not that it would stop us; we would continue. But
yes. Anybody?
It's pretty quiet out there.
Are we putting it down?
Yes, put it down.
Yes.
So HBO. All right, our last matchup: the 2 versus the 15. Number 2 seed, Good Night's Sleep. A Good Night's Sleep versus number 15, Sausage, Biscuits, and Gravy. Now, I think that's worded incorrectly. It should be sausage gravy. I know you say biscuits and gravy, but the sausage is part of the gravy. It's the way it makes it sound like you have a biscuit, a dry biscuit. You lay a sausage patty on it, and then you pour gravy on top. Everybody knows you don't do that. So what I'm envisioning is Bob Evans sausage gravy on a biscuit.
I think that's fair. I don't like sausage gravy overly myself, and I can speak from experience when the time changed, a couple weeks ago. Good God, it's like I got hit by a truck, so I'm definitely going Good Night's Sleep now.
But
no, there are no gravies in my life. Good Night's Sleep, absolutely.
As a night owl, I probably undervalue a good night's sleep. I don't eat it often, but I do enjoy some nice sausage gravy on a biscuit. It doesn't beat shit on a shingle, but it's still really good. I'm going biscuits and gravy. There you go. Gary agrees.
And Gary says forfeit the rest of the bracket.
Gary was walking around and he stopped just to chime in on this, how important biscuits and gravy is. Gary, don't you serve biscuits and gravy, Gary? Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you serve biscuits and gravy sometimes, or maybe every day? I don't know.
Brady, what did you vote?
I voted good. Biscuits and gravy. Disagree.
Did you get that, Eric?
No, I did not.
All right. Good night's sleep.
Yeah, he said good night's sleep.
Yeah, good night's sleep. As do I. Good night's sleep, without a doubt. Gary,
doubt?
I guess we actually have a tie on this too, and there's no way to break the tie. Well, I guess there is. Brady and I voted for a good night's sleep. Unless we have other votes.
There you go. Serve it on Saturday's homemade gravy. I need to get up there and get some homemade gravy, Gary. I need to do that. We should make Eric and Brady come up and eat some. Eric won't eat gravy. I apologize.
No, I will not eat.
Brady, will you not even eat it?
No, I can eat it on occasion. I don't mind a brown gravy like a Thanksgiving brown gravy or the brown gravy on KFC mashed potatoes, but I don't like the white sawdust gravy.
Well, but what about biscuit gravy? Gravy with sausage in it?
I like the sausage, but I just still don't love the gravy.
Yeah.
I said sawdust gravy. I meant sawmill gravy. Sorry.
So
I really was. I got the wrong.
I don't know if Say is still in. She messaged me a minute ago and said she's going to the hot tub. So I don't know if that means that she is checked out. How do we break this? Anybody else listening? So the vote is biscuits and gravy, sausage gravy, versus a good night's sleep. We need Mrs. Liming, Richard, if you're there, the historian.
Well, unless someone else votes, it is broken because me and Brady voted good night's sleep and you voted biscuits and gravy.
Right. That is true. That is true. I think Gary's vote should count twice since he actually serves biscuits and gravy.
He is passionate in his defense. But he also loses a point for walking around. I'm kidding.
It's not what the Kyle King rule says.
Yes.
Mama Liming, good night's sleep.
Up. Out.
Oh, Kenny.
Mom with the throw down.
Who else voted?
Kenny and Lou.
Oh, what'd he say?
Good night's sleep.
GNS.
GNS.
Hello, Kenny.
Kenny, how we doing?
Other side of the bracket, number 1 seed Bacon. Versus number 16 seed. Very good movie here. But really random. No Country for Old Men.
Never seen it.
It's good. You should watch it sometime.
It's good. But I like Bacon better.
That year, I remember that year of movies was very strong. It was one of those years where the Grammys, or not the Grammy, the Oscars and the Golden Globes were they weren't as artsy fartsy.
Yeah.
But still a little artsy fartsy. I believe
yeah.
There Will Be Blood, No Country for Old Men were all the same year.
Yeah.
What year was that?
I'll look it up.
I'm going to be honest. This is tough for me because I am a bacon. I like bacon. But I'm going to get personal here with our fans and friends out there. I'm having some teeth issues, some sensitive teeth issues. So, by the way, if you have any remedies for sensitive teeth, so I really struggle with bacon. I don't feel like I'm old enough to not be able to eat bacon, but it hurts me.
Sorry, that's terrible.
Yeah, thank you for your sympathy and your empathy. But I go with this the way I voted on the Married with Children versus beer. Assuming my teeth someday are not so sensitive and I can eat bacon again regularly. I can't imagine never eating bacon again, but I can imagine never watching No Country for Old Men again. My vote is bacon.
2007 is No Country for Old Men.
2000, okay.
That dude was creepy looking in that movie.
Well, and what's it about?
A drug deal gone bad, basically.
It's about a country where no old men are allowed.
This guy creeped me out.
And every time a man tries to enter the country, there's a man standing there saying, "This is no country for old men."
The definition of old has changed over the years for me. So what constitutes old?
Eric, I can't remember. Are you a bacon guy?
I like bacon.
This is probably going to take my credibility from any. I love turkey bacon.
I like turkey bacon.
I don't mind turkey bacon. Yeah. So we all three vote bacon, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Anybody else want to vote? If you've never seen this movie, you got to just vote bacon, I guess.
Yeah, you're required.
Anybody?
I'm ready.
Bacon?
Are we saying bacon?
I think so.
Bacon.
Burger.
Next matchup, number 8 versus number 9. That old chestnut. Number 8, Heather Locklear. Versus number 9. You're right, Gary. Gary, you should try taking your biscuits and gravy recipe and chopping up some pieces of bacon to put in the biscuits or put in the gravy. And you can name it after me. You keep all the money from it. I don't even want any of it.
Just want your name on it. And you get a free serving every time you come in?
Yes. Heather Locklear, 8 seed versus 9 seed Doritos.
Oh.
Now, the picture has a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos.
Ooh.
But I'm going to say you can pick any of your you can pick your favorite Dorito and put it up against Heather Locklear here.
In general, I'm not a big fan of Doritos.
Is it the
I will
shape?
not go out. I will not. It's. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Yeah, maybe it's shape. Maybe it's the
You
triangular
can't put your
shape.
finger on it, but it'll be orange afterwards.
Well, not if it's Cool
Exactly.
Ranch. Not if it's Cool Ranch. Or my favorite Dorito, the sweet chili or whatever it's called.
It's a texture thing, I think. If it comes down to that, it's a texture thing. Don't like the texture of the chip.
So I have a horror story about Doritos. And I think I've told it before. And this is going to sound like maybe a bit of a my mom growing up was so I think I've told this before, like various times when I was a kid, you were talking early 80s. My mom, she worked, like my grandma owned a restaurant. My mom worked. And then my mom went back to work. Actually, like after I graduated, my mom went back to work and worked for several years. But there were a lot of years there I remember my mom, being at home. And it seems like our house was always clean, like much cleaner than my house now. But I remember one night laying in the floor. I would lay in the floor and watch TV. Like my parents would be watching TV, and I would lay there on the floor. And I was eating like a Swiss roll. You know what I mean? The chocolate Swiss rolls.
Did the chocolate exoskeleton get on the floor?
Yeah. So the chocolate exoskeleton gets on the floor, and I, without kind of looking, I'm kind of still looking at the TV. I reach down and grab what I thought was the exoskeleton. What I put in my mouth was the tip of a Dorito.
Did you vomit?
I love Doritos, but when you're expecting the exoskeleton of a Swiss roll, and you put it in your mouth and you bite down, you taste the cheesy crunch and carpet of a Dorito tip. It'll damn near shake you out of your foundation.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Now, I would like to say it did not stop me from eating Doritos. I still eat Doritos, but I mean, I'm talking, this is probably 40 years later, I still think about that. And I still have that embedded in my memory like it was yesterday.
I had a similar thing happen. I grabbed a bowl from the sink to make me some ice cream and chocolate syrup. And I did not realize I grabbed the dirty bowl that it had hamburger helper in it. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Were you like the guys in that video we watched?
There's some ground beast and cheese at the bottom of that ice cream, and it kind of, yeah.
And again, it's not something that you wouldn't like to eat, but when you're expecting something else, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know how long that Dorito had been there. I hadn't had Doritos anytime.
Probably since the
prior to that.
Eisenhower administration.
It could have been. Yeah. Celia says thank you. For what?
Yeah, Celia says that. Because I think you besmirched her housekeeping skills.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were in the hot tub.
Didn't know you
we don't
were
have
here.
carpet. It never happened. I don't know that my story really told my vote. I was a Heather Locklear fan, but I think I was a little young for the Heather Locklear infatuation. So I'm going Doritos.
So the age-old question, just going off on a tangent: Heather Locklear or Heather Thomas?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'll throw you another one. How about Heather Mills?
Oh. Ooh. Heathers. That's what that movie was about, right?
Was Heather Mills in Knots Landing? Was she the mom? Was she Pate? What was her name? I got to look it up now.
Oh, daggone it. Heather Mills. I was thinking of Haley Mills. That's like, I never knew you had a thing for the lady on the Parent Trap. Or Saved by the Bell. Yeah, okay, now I gotcha.
I don't think I'm right. I think Heather Mills, was that like Paul McCartney's wife or something?
Yes. Yeah.
That's not who I'm thinking of.
She was
Yeah, Heather Mills McCartney. I'm thinking of, who was the one in Knots Landing?
Donna
Mills.
Mills.
Donna. Yeah.
Here
Donna
are
Mills.
the two Heathers. The one on the one on this side of the screen pointing toward Eric is Heather Thomas. The one on the left is Heather Locklear, but that's not a great picture of Heather Locklear.
Thank you, Kenny. Kenny corrected me. Donna Mills said Donna Mills was Knots Landing, and she was Nicolette Sheridan's mom.
Nicolette Sheridan.
Who was one of my first crushes.
Todd, I always call your niece by marriage Nicolette Sheridan.
She was married to Harry Hamlin, for those of you that don't know.
Oh,
Here is Heather Locklear, TJ Hooker era.
Hey, if you're not going to send me a picture of Adrian's Med, I don't want no TJ Hooker pictures.
Man. There's only one proper picture of Adrian's Med, and that is in Bachelor Party.
Oh, I beg to differ. Hang on, I'll show you the classic.
Not Zapped, not TJ Hooker, Bachelor Party.
No, it's this one and this one only. Hang on.
Show me no Zmed in some police outfit. So I'll say pa.
What kind of men have we become when we're showing pictures?
Adrian's met in Grease 2 when he gets caught smoking in the hallway and has to swallow the cigarette.
Grease 2 Electric Boogaloo.
That's classic Zmed. He's got the King Cobra hair going there.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it was like a King Cobra's embracing him.
Yeah, there he is, sans cigarette.
Zmed was huge for about 3 years in the early 80s.
Yeah.
I present Adrian's Med at the bowling alley. Come on, guys.
I don't need a Rachel shot. That's what he's singing. Let's bowl, let's rock and roll.
So what was Heather Thomas in?
Fall Guy, yeah.
Fall Guy. Yeah.
Correct.
Gosh, now I want to watch Grease 2. Reproduction. Put your pollen tube to work.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to throw up.
I say Heather Locklear.
I say Heather Locklear.
I got to say, Zmed aged really well.
It's not what we're voting on. Todd votes Adrian.
No, wait a minute. That looks like if 80s Adrian Zmed and Casey Kasem had a baby. Put it up there again.
All right, hang on. I got to find it. I lost it already.
Adrian's shots for the night.
Yes. I mean, I don't know how old he is there, but he's
doing all right.
Yeah, he's not doing bad.
I think he's late 20s in the early 80s.
I think he got over his infatuation with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Have we voted? I think I voted Doritos.
I voted Heather Locklear.
Oh, Gary, so that's a great idea. But I think you could take it a step further and not eat all the bacon and put it in the sausage gravy. Do you know what they don't have? I've never had is bacon gravy.
Yeah.
It's bacon.
All right, what wins here?
Got a Donna Mill. Well, no, that's Donna Mills.
That was Kenny. Correcting me and letting me know that Donna Mills was the mom in Knots Landing.
All right, audience. Heather Locklear or what was it?
Doritos.
Doritos.
I mean, what else?
I was stuck on the bacon or biscuits and gravies.
This might be along gender lines, and not only that, some of the gentlemen might not vote Heather Locklear. They're going to be voting Doritos, so they're not sleeping in the doghouse.
Yeah, I kind of go back. I mean, the Doritos have staying power. Heather Locklear did not. Like none of us have staying power.
No. Father Time is undefeated.
Sustained success.
If I can go Cool Ranch Doritos, it's an easy vote for me. Or the sweet chili Doritos. If it's run of the mill, the regular Cheetos or Doritos, then I probably go Heather Locklear. But I'm putting. What did you guys vote, Eric, Brady?
Heather Locklear.
Heather Locklear.
Oh my gosh. Do I put her down?
I mean, no one else voted. So I think you got to put her down.
I'd have to. Next matchup, number 5, Daisy Duke. Daisy, just to be clear, it's Daisy Duke, the character, not Daisy Duke's the jorts.
Jorts.
Versus number 12, amusement parks. It's easy for me.
Yeah, very easy.
See, I just voted for Heather Locklear, so I feel like I could take Heather Locklear to the amusement park. I got to go amusement parks in this situation.
Daisy Duke.
Daisy Duke. Amusement parks are number 1. They're for kids. I'm a grown-ass man.
Speak for yourself.
I'm a grown-ass man. I know those rides are rusty, and the teenagers that are running them shouldn't be running them. They haven't greased the heims and the joints and all that stuff in decades. They brought it there on a tractor trailer.
We're not talking Nolan rides here. We're talking like Kings Island and Universal.
How do you think they get them there? You think they just hover over and drop them down? They get there on the back of a truck and then they put them together like a
jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah. They smell like vomit.
Vomit.
Only the Gravitron.
Yeah. Amusement parks are only good when you're trying to impress your girl to make her think you're not scared of going upside down.
So Heather Locklear when she gets on the I'm kidding.
But I'll be honest though. I mean, Daisy Duke was a little before my time too.
She's an icon.
She's an
icon.
Right.
And she is beautiful. But even then, Daisy Duke wasn't quite my type. Does that make sense?
Wasn't your type?
Well, she's going to get once again. She is beautiful, but I think well, if my choice of had Locklear over Daisy Duke in the contest, it's just I don't know. I don't know. I'm bloviating here. I just think it's hard to describe.
So quick question. You guys can
Yes.
did Daisy did Daisy Duke at one point date Bo and Luke?
On the show?
Yeah.
It was her cousin.
It was Georgia.
Exactly. See how much I remember Daisy Duke. I thought who'd she date? Who was her boyfriend in the show?
Anus.
Cooter.
Anus. See, I thought they weren't real cousins. I thought it was one of those deals where they just called each other cousin. Was it Anus or Cooter?
Anus.
Oh.
Brady's broken. You know that's why they named him that.
Sorry for the 1 minute of wheezing. No, I don't think Daisy Duke ever dated Enos. I think she was just using her feminine wiles to distract him so the boys could escape jail.
So hang on a minute. They were really cousins?
Yes.
Daisy Duke, Bo Duke, Luke Duke.
I guess it makes sense.
So the question is here, whose uncle was Uncle Jesse? Whose father was Uncle Jesse? If he was all three of their uncles, they were not brothers and sisters. Well,
and how come Uncle Jessup always had the overalls on? He never wore anything different.
No.
Well, he's always had to be on the run from the revenuers, so he needed he needed bibs on, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I thought Daisy and so Daisy and
so
Roscoe.
What?
Daisy and
Roscoe.
She would just tease Roscoe, wouldn't she?
She would tease Enos, and you made me do it. No. Roscoe was married to that. What was her name? Lulu.
Lulu was Roscoe's sister. Boss Hogg was married to Lulu.
Okay.
So Boss Hogg was married to Roscoe's sister?
Correct.
Yes.
That's why Roscoe had a job.
And Flash was related to none of them. So
that we know of. But now wait a minute. Back to Uncle Jesse. Bo and Luke were brothers. No, right. Bo and Luke were cousins as well, weren't they? They were not brothers.
I don't know. I'm lost.
They were all three cousins. So Uncle Jesse must have had at least 3 siblings. If none of them were brother and sister.
Yes.
Right? No, he would have 2
siblings. Shot by the revenuers.
2 siblings. Wasn't Uncle Jesse Daisy's dad?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I'll try to look at Dukes of Hazzard canon here.
If Cooter and Anus aren't on there, I don't want to read it.
Well,
I thought Uncle Jesse was Daisy's dad.
No.
Man, I need to rewatch that show. I was all kinds of lost.
Yeah,
see, I thought the whole thing was cousins.
You're like finding it. Of course, Brady pixelates now when we get an answer to our question.
Gary, question Uncle Jesse's singular attire and forgetting the Queen of Daisy Duke. That shows you, Gary, that my head wasn't in the gutter. I was more concentrated on the bibs than I was the jorts.
In the TV series The Dukes of Hazzard, Jesse is the caretaker father figure to Bo, Luke, and Daisy Duke. not their biological father, as their parents have passed away. Bo, Luke, and Daisy are cousins living on a farm. The show establishes that Uncle Jesse takes care of them. No explanation ever given to the circumstances of the Bo, Luke, and Daisy's parents' death. It's the revenuers.
So again, Uncle Jesse had at least 3 siblings.
Now,
well, no, all 3 siblings had to be brothers because they were all named Duke.
correct. And let's not forget whoever was the parents of Coy and Vance, wherever they came from, when the contract issue happened.
You know what? They're the scrappy dudes of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes,
They're the cousin Olivers of the
cousin Oliver.
What was the youngest one's name in Married with Children? Didn't they end up having another kid?
Oh, wasn't it 7?
Was that his name?
I think that was his name. 7.
Okay.
What name was worse, 7 or 6 from Blossom?
13 when they got married and had a child. Okay, follow me.
The child would have been 14, but go ahead.
Do you remember
6 plus 7 is 13?
He said when they got married and had a child, the child would have been 14.
No, I said 13.
Them getting married makes 13. The child they had would be 14.
Well, 9 months later.
I'm adding their digits.
9 months later, that they would still be. Yeah. Math is not my strength.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, sorry. I haven't graded, and this is like, I'm not even being funny here. Do you remember how Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had that new iteration where it was a little bit darker? Dukes of Hazzard done darker has so many awesome possibilities. What if it was Boss Hogg that killed their parents? Because he's a corrupt individual, and they were going to expose him, so he had them killed.
And he rammed them engorged them with his
bull horns,
with his bull bumper. Yeah.
And Roscoe was.
And he fed him to Flash.
Oh. The dark underworld of Hazzard County.
That's right.
Or they were fed. They became part of the boards.
Everybody knows basset hounds will just flat out eat you.
Eat you. See, Gary followed what I was saying about the 14. All right. 14. So again, back to Uncle Jesse. Uncle Jesse, now we think, did he have at least 5 siblings? You bring up Coy and Vance. Are their parents dead too?
Because they were killed by Boss Hogg.
So 5 siblings of Uncle Jesse were killed by Boss Hogg. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying we're going to pretend that Coy and Vance don't exist in Dukes of Hazzard canon. That was just a contract holdout mistake. And they put 2 Beeves cake in there to swap out the other ones.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Oh Lord, here we go now. Gary says we're Coy and Vance second cousins.
Maybe
so. First cousins once removed.
Don't even get to start on that.
Coy and Vance were sent to live with Uncle Jesse because they were busted cooking meth. And their parents sent him to Hazzard County to get him away from everything in the dark version.
Speaking of Hazzard County, how about that asshole Richard Marx?
Oh, he moved to Hazzard when he was about 7.
I keep waiting for the historian to actually set up a battle between Richard Marx and myself.
Oh. Yeah.
Enos's long lost brother A. Brady, I don't know the last time you've been broken on this show.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm going to have a problem if we vote in Heather Locklear, but not Daisy Duke. Because Heather Locklear beat Doritos. Daisy Duke beats a very, very, very questionable 12 seed amusement parks.
Oh, I'm Daisy Duke.
My vote, my choice. I'm taking Heather Locklear before I'm sticking with it. Come on, I'm looking here too.
I am the modern man.
With parts made in Japan. Secret. We've got a secret.
I'm Kilroy.
Freaking Kilroy Liming over here.
I think we win, Todd.
I think so.
People aren't voting anymore.
Yeah, and you guys couldn't hear Stephen Hawking's vote earlier. Is that the second time Eric's been broken?
Good feeling enjoying this episode way more than our listeners.
It's too soon. I apologize. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Andy.
Is Daisy Duke winning?
Yeah,
Yes.
she did.
Yeah.
She did drive it away.
All right. Number 4, Reese's.
Now, wait a minute.
Cups or monkeys?
It doesn't say pieces or cups, but the picture is
trees
cups
or
monkeys.
pumpkins.
or bats. It's cups. It shows cups, but I'm going to say you pick your favorite Reese's. Versus number 13, baseball on the radio.
See, there are all these baseball seeds in here to mess me up.
Huh?
See, there are all these baseball seeds in here to mess me up.
Yeah, it does seem like this bracket was made to get stuck in your craw.
Cry.
Brady's gone.
Stephen Hawking has left.
I feel bad for that joke. Publicly. There he is. Hey, he looks great now.
I didn't even do anything.
He's back, folks.
Was I frozen?
Reincarnated.
That's right. You look, Brady. You haven't looked better all night.
Yeah.
Talk.
Hello.
Freezing. Oh.
How am I saying?
Not back to
Yeah. It's Trevor's fault. It is.
Yeah, you sound like Small Wonder stepped in a water puddle.
You're on fire, man.
You are in fuego.
Oh.
You know, I got to be honest. I'm quite proud of a Stephen Hawking, Small Wonder, and what was my other joke?
Anus.
Anus, yeah.
No,
that was Eric.
The anus joke was me,
Yeah, that was Eric.
as well as the
He
Mr.
claims that.
Roboto joke.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, man. In all seriousness, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Reds on radio. I think that attract. I can speak for Eric and I, kind of instilled our love of this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but over Reese's?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's America.
That's an unfair seating, is what that is.
I could eat a Nestle's Crunch or a whatchamacallit and still enjoy my radio. I would miss Reese's, but I think
You're the only person that eats Nestle Crunch.
I ate one
Literally.
today.
Literally, the only person that eats Nestle Crunch. I've never even fingered a Nestle Crunch that didn't have dust all over it. If you go to your store tomorrow, your local store, and you grab a Nestle Crunch, I guarantee you it'll have a sheen of dust on it. Can't even defend himself. Everybody knows Crackle. Crackle's the way to go.
Crackle.
Why did every candy bar have an evil counterpart?
Competition. Crackle.
Yeah, you had Nestle Crackle. You had
Nestle
Hershey
Crunch, Hershey Crackle.
Yeah, I said that. You had Nestle Crackle, and then you had
Nestle Crunch.
You did it again.
No,
Nestle Crunch
and Crackle.
Hershey
Crackle.
Hershey Crackle.
But you also had what was the Score bar versus the
Heath.
Yeah.
What else was
Fifth Avenue versus Zagnut or Clark Bar.
No.
Sorry, Clark Bar.
No. Oh yeah. No, it was Butterfinger. It was Butterfinger versus the Clark Bar. Fifth Avenue versus
They were a Clark Bar that had a nut on it.
Yeah, but Fifth Avenue was more like old Henry.
Oh, Henry.
Oh.
Go back to the confectionery store and give me something else.
You know what didn't have an evil counterpart? Zero bars.
Nary another white candy bar.
If you froze it,
No
it
more
would be an
Caucasian.
an absolute zero bar.
So a whatchamacallit is just a girthy crunch.
No. It has some. It's got caramel on it
And peanut butter. Well, whatchamacallit has some peanut butter.
Yeah.
Caramel. Caramel or caramel? I'm not eating anything with caramel in it. It's got to be caramel.
I just realized how much I used to like
Fifth
Avenues. Well, you had Milky Ways. I would say Milky Way and Three Musketeers were kind of a little bit similar. Well,
the Milky Way had caramel, right?
Caramel, all right.
The nougat family.
Nougats.
Right,
I could not tell you the composition of a Clark bar or a Fifth Avenue.
Well, it's like chippy, peanut buttery, brittle.
Yeah.
It's flaky. I'm going Reese's over baseball on the radio.
As much as I hate to say it, I believe I will as well.
I am shocked.
Eric Brady's shocked, I think he's saying.
I know you're shocked. That's why he's frozen with a open mouth.
Is that the first time Eric has sided with the non-baseball answer?
I believe it is.
No, I didn't say inside the park home run. Whatever was against that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't see how you beat Reese's. I mean, like they were the original, right? They were the original. Hey, you got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
You got your peanut butter and my chocolate.
Right.
Hey, you should have watched where you're going so I don't hit you with this jar of peanut butter. That's what it should have been.
That's right. Don't be so nonchalant with your confectionaries.
Keep
an eye out.
I think Reese's.
I'm going. I wrote Reese's down. Yeah. All right.
Now Gary says, knock the dust off the Crunch bar and spread some peanut butter on it, and you have a winner.
Yeah. You're right. Number 8. This is interesting. Hang on a minute. It has to be 6 and 11.
6 and 11.
Yeah. Number 6, the Beatles. versus number 11, Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood.
Beatles for me. Both are amazing, but Beatles.
Clint Eastwood.
What?
Clint Eastwood for me as well.
How about that?
Wow.
I'm not a Beatles fan at all. I've said this many times. I'm a Monkees fan over the Beatles. It's kind of like this. So you have Queensryche versus Dream Theater, Beatles over the Monkees. So this is the matchup: Queensryche versus Dream Theater, Beatles versus Monkees, John Mellencamp versus Springsteen. I go Mellencamp, Queensryche, Eastwood. Does that make sense?
No, because
Okay.
when did Clint Eastwood? Did you mean Monkees?
Yeah.
Beatles or okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Monkees. So if I'm going to vote Monkees over Beatles, I can't vote Beatles over Clint Eastwood. That's where I was going with that. Sorry, my bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's only
totally.
there's only room for one.
I'd probably go Beatles. If Images and Words was the only one, I would go Dream Theater. But if you take the whole body of work, I gotta go Queensryche. And definitely Mellencamp over Springsteen. Although I love the Born in the USA cassette, but I can't even listen to him now.
Yes, pause. I'm not a huge Beatles fan either. I recognize their place in the lore of rock and roll, but I don't go out of my way to listen to any Beatles. Clint Eastwood, however, yeah, I think he holds a unique place in cinema.
Definitely
does.
So Eastwood for me.
Clint Eastwood is the director of one of my favorite movies of all time.
Which is?
If you've never seen the movie Mystic River, you should watch it.
I'm not.
Movie.
One of the best movies of all time. That's all I'll say.
Okay. So Savannah has voted. Also voted Eastwood.
Eric, do you remember the dodge I would the curveball I would throw riding around my Pinto, which was a hair metal heavy Landis, but I popped the white out at the time.
I think you said hair metal, then pop in the White Album. Is that what you said?
So, yeah, I think that's what he said as well.
I do recall.
So the Beatles are, to me, the Beatles are in the category of Bob Dylan for me, as in some of the most overrated. Like, to me, the Beatles, the only Beatles I really enjoy is the bubblegummy Beatles, which makes them more like the Monkees. The poppy bubblegummy Beatles.
True
So
that.
I think that's my, I'm not a McCartney fan either. I'm not, I don't know. I'm definitely not a John Lennon fan.
No.
Yeah, I'm
John
a Paul
Lennon's-
over John guy.
Well, John is one of those guys that, and may he rest in peace, but had he lived, I think would have ended up being much less adorned and loved than he was.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
He was
tormented man.
He was abusive to women.
Yeah,
I mean, he was just like not a good guy, and so it's hard when you see, like, again, like, maybe that doesn't discount his contribution to music, but him as an idol, I think it definitely.
yeah.
Well, see, and you mentioned Springsteen. I think he would have turned into a crotchety old Springsteen type.
Oh yeah. I agree. Anywho, We don't want to, but here's the deal. If Richard Marx comes on here and brings Springsteen with him, I think the three of us can take him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. You hear that? You hear that, historian? I'm telling you, he's one of these days he's going to get Richard Marx on here.
It is.
So what are we voting? I think Eastwood wins it.
Eastwood wins it. Because even Gary said more likely to watch Eastwood than listen to the Beatles.
Wow.
Right. We got a couple more, and then I think we're done with the first round. Hopefully the next round, Brady's technical difficulties are.
Yeah.
Number 3 seed. This is a high seed here. Last Day of School. You know, and we get to enjoy that a little more than most. A little longer than most. Versus I think a criminally too low of a seed here. Cheers. The show.
The show? Okay.
The show.
All right.
Last Day of School. I like me some Cheers, but man, that feeling of the last day of school not only is a ute, but now it's a head of euphoria, man.
Agreed. And we're probably all biased in this. If you put 3 different people here, they may all vote Cheers, but Last Day of School.
Now, if they would have put Cheers and Night Court back to back Thursday nights, right? Thursday nights?
Yeah.
Thursday nights.
It would be tougher because the Cheers and Night Court combo was pretty damn good.
Agreed.
Didn't you have Cheers, Night Court, Cosby Show?
No, yeah, Cosby Show. Something else. Cheers, Night Court.
Something
I don't know
else?
I don't know what the something else was.
Oh, I thought there was a show called something else.
No. Because Cosby was 8 o'clock. Whatever else was 8:30. Cheers was 9.
Different World. Or Family Ties.
It wasn't Different World because Different World was a spinoff of Cosby.
Yeah.
Could be Family Ties. Could be Family Ties. That could be it.
But guys, think about a 2 hours of television that was
a powerhouse.
My gosh.
That's amazing.
I think Family Ties was before all of them though. Can we look it up? What night was it?
Thursday. I don't.
Thursday night TV. I probably need to put a year.
Family Ties was 82, which I believe Cheers also was 82. Cheers was also 82. I think Cosby was 83.
Primetime television for the 1980s. Let's see if
Cosby was 84.
Yeah.
Thursday night, Laverne and Shirley, Benson.
Benson.
Barney Miller, Soap, 2020.
Oh, God, yeah.
The Waltons, Hawaii Five-0, Barnaby Jones.
Barnaby Jones.
Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Quincy, Kate Loves a Mystery. This has to be something.
Never heard of Kate Loves a Mystery.
Was NBC's 80s Thursday night lineup the best in TV history? Leading off, The Cosby Show. Oh, bull crap. I got to create an account to read this.
Boo.
But we have established that Cheers and Family Ties were the same year, and Cosby Show is 2 years later.
Okay, this says top 10 and bottom 5 shows from NBC's Thursday night must-see TV lineup 1980 to the 2004. That's a long span. Family Ties, 84 to 87. A Different World, 80. So this is a little side topic. Top 10 shows of must-see TV. Number 10, A Different World, 87 to 92. Family Ties, 84 to 87. Frasier, 93 to 94, and then 98 to 2000. L.A. Law, 87 to 94. Will and Grace, 99 to 2006. Friends, 94 to 2004. ER, 94 to 2008. Cheers, 82 to 93. Seinfeld, 91, 93 to 98. And number 1, The Cosby Show. It doesn't even mention Night Court.
Oh, that's criminal.
How about Give Me a Break, 82 to 84?
I was going to say, how about this? The first must-see TV lineup consisted of Different Strokes, the Thursday night lineup, Harper Valley, starring Barbara Zeden.
I think I went and took a bath and brushed my teeth during that point.
Give Me a Break, and then Lewis and Clark starring Cotter.
Who?
Gabe Kaplan. And then Hill Street Blues.
I used to like some Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So this is a thing. I think you guys mentioned this. Best era of NBC's Thursday nights, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. 80s, Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, Night Court.
Yes.
Versus 90s, Mad About You, Friends, Seinfeld, Frasier. Also a strong lineup.
Yes.
Versus 2000s, Community, Parks and Recreation, The Office, 30 Rock.
I was out of it by then.
Do you know what won? The 90s. Mad About You, Friends, Seinfeld, and Frasier. Friends and Seinfeld back-to-back was pretty strong. I mean, like, as far as...
Yeah.
But my gosh. I mean, when you had Cosby Show, then you had the Keatons.
Family Ties.
Yeah, and Cheers in the Night Court. Man, that was
strong.
Anything.
That was strong.
I'd give anything to go back there.
That was truly must-see TV.
It was.
I'm going Last Day of School.
Yes.
Agreed.
Now,
Savannah says Cheers.
Oh. Wow. All right, 2 more matchups. Number 7 versus number 10. Number 7, Andre the Giant. Versus number 10, Airplane, the movie.
Brady's going to struggle here.
Andre the Giant was pre-WWE so cool, but I don't like what they did to him by that time. Princess Bride, he was pretty awesome, but I'm gonna go Airplane. It still cracks me up. You ever watched the Gladiator movie, Timmy? Ever been in a men's locker room or a Turkish bath, Timmy?
And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, surely you can't be serious.
I'm trying. So, I think I'm going to go Andre the Giant.
I believe I am as well. So 2
Go ahead.
2-1 Andre the Giant between us. What were you going to say, Todd?
I was going to say I think because it's one of those things again where Airplane was great, but I mean Andre the Giant. Okay, put it this way: if I were to go, let's just say I'm at the biggest crowd Vinyl Count that's ever played in front of, which is the Bengals games, and I were to say, all right, guys, let's hear it for my Airplane fans out there. And then let's hear from Andre the Giant fans. I'm going to get a bigger reaction of he was more iconic, I think, than the movie.
Agreed. And Airplane, like Police Squad, was better carried out than Airplane, in my opinion. Andre the Giant had no comparison.
Right. At that time, especially.
Yeah. I mean
he was the Wilt Chamberlain. He was the Wilt Chamberlain of wrestling. And, like, there was
yeah.
Nobody had seen a specimen like that.
No. Later you have the Undertaker and you have different people, but
well, later on everybody got big. Like,
true.
I mean,
you're
not that big, but there were.
steroids.
Yeah. And I just mean even like there were several giants later on, but he was the original giant.
Right. So 2-1 Andre the Giant. Savannah says Andre. The historian chimes in with Andre.
Nice.
Andre.
And Gary, airplane.
Gary says airplane. So 3-2. People can initiate and properly imitate and properly quote airplane, but no one can accurately imitate Andre. That's true.
Yeah, true.
But the one in the one movie, the guy, anybody want a peanut? What was that movie where the guy does the Andre the Giant?
I know what you're talking about. It's just escaping me.
I'll have to send the clip. He does a pretty good impersonation of Andre the Giant. All right, last matchup for the first round. Number 2 seed, Coffee. A criminally underrated 15 seed, Monty Python.
Oh, this is no. Not only I dislike Coffee, but I love Monty Python.
I hate one and I don't care for the other.
Really? I didn't know you were anti-Monty.
I'm fairly anti-British humor in general.
Interesting.
Bullets.
So Monty Python because I hate coffee.
What? So I can understand. I'm not a big. I'm not like a. I mean, I don't have like Mr. Bean tattooed on my backside or anything like that. But like, what do you dislike about, say, the Holy Grail?
It doesn't resonate with me.
Okay.
It's.
I fault in your general direction.
It goes too far over the top, trying to be subdued. If that makes sense. I like those slow burn sort of laughs. Trying to be subdued and then being over the top about it. And that's what that sort of humor is to me. Doesn't resonate with me.
There's nothing more low key funny is when the knight's fighting and he gets his arm hacked off and he's pretty like, it's just a flesh wound. And then he cuts the other arm off. I'll just kick you. Are you sure you want to continue, lad? It's just a flesh wound. I'm fine. Not funny at all.
I see where Eric's coming from.
Yeah.
But I do think that is. I think it is all how it's perceived.
Yeah.
Because I think that they know exactly what they're doing, and I think they know that they're over the top, silly, and
that's
the
slapsticky. It's slapstick.
It is.
Like when they're on the hobby horses and the guys have the coconuts and trailing them, making the horse sounds.
I mean, I fart in your general direction. How can you not love that?
Well, I don't say I dislike all of it, but in general, it just doesn't resonate with me.
I'm not going to say that I love all Monty, but I do love the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Eric, if you could pick Holy Grail versus Top Secret, which do you like? Which do you prefer?
Top Secret.
I would probably agree with that.
Cigars, cigarettes, party
favors. Those party favors.
Party favors.
I agree. I think Gary's comment here. I think Monty is criminally underrated.
Yeah.
See, I think they did to non-baseball people what they've been doing to me all bracket with the baseball stuff.
But Gary, again, I mean, coffee's pretty important to Gary.
It is. It is.
Extremely important to Gary.
Yeah. What one? Savannah says Monty. I say Monty. Brady says Monty. Eric says, well, I don't know what you said, Eric.
Yeah.
I
He's
said
Monty by default.
Monty,
because I hate coffee.
Right.
Sorry, Gary.
Well, you at least need to go get some biscuits and gravy, darn it.
Yeah.
You don't like gravy either, so.
But
I'm sure Gary
I
hooked you up with
wanna
something.
apologize to our earbud about my sound and technical quality issues. I sincerely believe that it's a spectrum issue because on my phone the Wi-Fi is doing this too, like it's moving like a concertina. So I figure they're having some issue.
If anybody's interested, this is the longest I've ever had to pee during one of our podcast episodes.
Thanks for
I had to
sharing.
pee at the 22-minute mark.
Oh, so you needed to, or you've been peeing constantly while you're podcasting?
No, I haven't peed yet, but we're sneaking up on 2 hours of having to pee.
Yeah.
So I started a little healthy eating thing this week and diet, whatever you want to call it. And part of that obviously is ingesting more water in my bladder. There goes Brady. My bladder is not quite prepared for it. So it's very tough being an elementary school teacher and having increasing your water intake.
True that. All right. There he goes again. I think he's just gone.
He's just flying all over the place.
Yeah. So we'll round things out. Again, check us out on our socials, Facebook, X, and Instagrams. On our platforms, you can watch us on YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, and Rumble. And you can hear us on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app, amongst other audio podcast platforms. We'll let you know about next week's schedule here in a few days, but hope you join us then. Hope everything is smoother then for us than it was tonight, but we appreciate you suffering through it with us.
Do what Brady doesn't fake a tech issue.
Exactly.
There's more truth to that than Brady is tech issues.
You have no idea. The phantom phone updates.
Nice alliteration.
Yes, thank you. All right, Todd, take us out.
I am not a crook.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it